Have you ever wondered why certain situations or comments make you feel a certain way? Our emotions are like a complex web of reactions, deeply woven into our psyche. At the heart of this web are triggers, stimuli that evoke strong emotional responses. These triggers can be external, like a remark from a colleague or a specific situation, or internal, such as a thought or a memory. They can provoke positive feelings, like joy or excitement, or negative ones, like stress or anxiety. Every trigger has a root, a foundation buried deep within our subconscious. It's often linked to our past experiences, beliefs, and values. When a trigger is activated, it's like a button being pressed, setting off an emotional reaction we may not fully understand. But why is it important to understand these triggers? Well, identifying your triggers is like having a map of your emotional landscape. It helps you navigate through your reactions and understand why you feel a certain way in specific situations. Imagine walking into a room filled with snakes without knowing you're afraid of them. Your heart pounds, you start to sweat, panic sets in, but you have no idea why. Now imagine walking into the same room, but this time you're aware of your fear. You can anticipate your reaction, manage your fear, and maybe even challenge it. That's the power of understanding your triggers. Triggers can also guide us to unresolved issues in our lives. Perhaps a comment that always gets under your skin points to a belief you need to reassess. Or a situation that always makes you anxious may be linked to an event in your past. By identifying these triggers, you're not just reacting. You're actively delving into your subconscious, seeking to understand yourself better. But remember, unraveling your emotional triggers isn't just about managing negative reactions, it's also about amplifying the positive ones. Knowing what brings you joy, what motivates you, and what calms you allows you to create an environment conducive to your well-being. Identifying your triggers is the first step to understanding your responses and managing your emotions effectively. As we journey through this process together, keep in mind that self-understanding is not an overnight achievement. It's a journey, and each step brings you closer to emotional clarity and resilience. The first step to identifying your triggers is observing your emotional reactions. Imagine you're a detective, and your emotions are the clues you're trying to decipher. Every time you feel a surge of stress, anxiety, anger, or sadness, you've stumbled upon a piece of evidence. It's a sign that something in your environment, or even within your own thoughts, has triggered a powerful emotional response. Now, as a good detective, you want to gather as much information about this clue as possible. What were the circumstances leading up to this emotional reaction? Was there a specific event or comment that set it off? Who was involved and what was their role in the situation? And most importantly, how did you react? To help you with this investigation, start a habit of keeping an emotional reactions journal. Every time you have a strong emotional reaction, write down as many details as you can remember. The goal here isn't to judge yourself or to try to suppress these emotions. It's simply to observe and document them. It's like you're a scientist studying a fascinating phenomenon. You're not trying to change it or control it. You're just curious about it. You want to understand it better. And remember, emotions are not inherently good or bad. They're just signals, telling you something about your relationship with the world around you. When you feel stress, it might be a sign that you're taking on too much, or that something important to you is at risk. When you feel anger, it might be a signal that your boundaries have been crossed, or that something you value has been violated. By observing these emotional reactions and writing them down, you start to see patterns. You start to understand what types of situations, behaviors, or people tend to trigger these strong emotions in you. And this understanding is power. Because once you know what your triggers are, you can start to develop strategies to manage them. You can start to take control of your emotional landscape rather than being at the mercy of it. So, start observing your emotional reactions. Start gathering those clues. And remember, this is a process. It takes time, patience, and a lot of self-compassion. Keeping a record of your emotional reactions can help you identify your triggers. Triggers aren't just emotional, they can also cause physical reactions. This statement may surprise some, but it's a crucial understanding in the journey to uncover our triggers. Our body, believe it or not, has its own language. It speaks to us through physical sensations, revealing what might be happening underneath the surface of our conscious awareness. When we're triggered, our body can respond in a variety of ways. Some people might experience an increased heart rate, a sure sign of stress or anxiety. This rapid beating of the heart can feel like a drum pounding in your chest, a clear signal that something is bothering you. Others might break into a sweat, even in a cool room. This is your body's way of saying that it's under pressure, that it's working hard to cope with an emotional response. It's like a silent alarm going off, alerting you to take note of what's happening. Tension in the body is another common physical sensation. You might feel your muscles tightening, especially around your neck and shoulders, or perhaps a knot forming in your stomach. This tension is your body's way of bracing for impact, a primal response to perceived threats. As we navigate through life, it's important to remember that these physical sensations are not your enemy. They are signals, messages from your body, telling you that something has stirred an emotional response within you. So how do we use this information? Start by paying attention. The next time you find yourself in a stressful situation, pause for a moment. Tune into your body. What's happening? Are you noticing any of these physical signs? If so, make a note of them. Write them down if you can. This practice can help you to identify the triggers that cause these reactions. Over time, this awareness can help you to better understand your triggers. You'll start to notice patterns, situations, or events that consistently lead to these physical responses. This knowledge is power. It gives you the ability to anticipate and manage these reactions, to process your emotions in healthier ways. Paying attention to your body can offer additional clues about your emotional triggers. So let's not ignore these signals. Instead, let's listen to them, learn from them, and use them as a guide on our journey to emotional well-being. Looking for patterns and considering past experiences can shed light on your triggers. Identifying patterns in your emotional responses can be a key way to understand what sets off certain feelings. These patterns can be as simple as noticing that you feel anxious in crowded spaces, or as complex as realizing that certain types of comments or behaviors from others cause you to feel frustrated or upset. You might observe that you tend to feel a certain way after interacting with a particular person, or that your mood changes when you're in a specific setting. These are patterns that can tell you a lot about your triggers. It's like being a detective of your own emotions, gathering clues and piecing them together to form a bigger picture. Now let's consider past experiences. Sometimes our emotional responses in the present are actually triggered by events from our past. Perhaps a current situation reminds you of a past experience that was difficult or traumatic. This can happen even if we're not consciously aware of the connection. Our brains have a way of storing these memories and linking them to our emotions, often without our realizing it. Think about whether any of your current emotional responses might be linked to past experiences. Journaling can be a powerful tool for exploring these connections. By writing down your thoughts and feelings, you can start to see patterns and make connections that might not have been clear before. This process of self-reflection can lead to powerful insights about your emotional triggers. Remember, this is a journey of self-discovery, not a race. It's important to approach it with patience and compassion for yourself. It's okay if you don't have all the answers right away. The important thing is that you're taking steps to understand your triggers and how they affect you. Your past experiences can provide valuable insights into your present emotional triggers. So listen to your feelings, look for patterns, and embrace the journey of self-discovery. The insights you gain along the way can empower you to navigate your emotions with greater understanding and confidence. Sometimes, the perspective of others can help us identify our triggers. It's like having a mirror held up to our behaviors, reflecting the things we might not see ourselves. Enlisting the aid of trusted friends or family members can be a powerful tool in our quest to understand our triggers. Their observations may shed light on patterns of reactions that we've been oblivious to. For instance, they might notice that you tend to become irritable when you're hungry, or that you become anxious when faced with a looming deadline. These are realizations that can be invaluable in helping us understand and manage our emotional triggers. Understanding our triggers has multiple benefits. For one, it can lead to improved communication. When we are aware of what sets us off, we can express ourselves more clearly, calmly, and constructively. We can articulate our feelings and needs without letting our emotions get the best of us, reducing the chances of conflicts and misunderstandings. Another benefit is enhanced decision-making. Emotional triggers can cloud our judgment and lead us to make impulsive decisions that we might regret later. By recognizing our triggers, we can pause, take a step back, and make more objective and thoughtful choices. And let's not forget about resilience. The more we understand our triggers, the better equipped we are to handle challenging situations. We can develop strategies to manage our emotional responses, enabling us to bounce back more quickly from stress and adversity. However, it's important to remember that identifying our triggers is a process that requires time, patience, and self-compassion. It's not about blaming ourselves for our reactions, but rather understanding them. It's about learning to navigate our emotional landscape with greater ease and confidence. By identifying your triggers, you are taking a significant step towards better emotional health and personal growth. This journey of self-discovery and self-improvement is a testament to your strength and resilience. And remember, every step you take brings you closer to a more balanced and fulfilling life. We hope you found this video insightful, and it has provided you with some useful tools to better understand your emotional triggers. If you've enjoyed this content and would like to continue this journey of self-discovery with us, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us create more content like this. If you're interested in delving deeper into understanding your triggers and believe you could benefit from professional help, we at Era of Infinite are here to assist. You can reach out to us at www.reprogramonline.com. Our dedicated team of professionals is ready to guide you on your path to better emotional health and personal growth. Once again, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Remember, understanding your triggers is not a destination, but a journey. Each step you take is a significant stride towards better emotional health and personal growth. Keep going and know that we're here to support you every step of the way.